pilot's first flight, a lawyer's first multi-million-dollar win, a doctor's successful heart transplant. These are all, expectedly, big moments in an individual's professional lives. These are all the moments we hear about after the fact, in our communities, in our newspapers, and on our televisions. These are the moments we look at in shock and awe, both impressed and intimidated by the accomplishment of something that seems near impossible to many of us. I want you to stop for a moment to take a step back. When we hear about these moments, do we first hear of the pilot's childhood fear of flying? Or the lawyer's family's financial difficulties? Or the doctor's failed medical school exam? Odds are we don't. We live in a world that focuses on the end product rather than on the process. Too often, for whatever reason, we don't hear the struggle or the sacrifice. And as a result, we have a tendency to think that it doesn't exist, or worse yet, that something is wrong when our road to success seems especially bumpy or long. Today, if you remember nothing else, I want you to remember this. It's okay to struggle. It's okay if you're not the top student of your class, and your chances of graduating with a yellow panel around your neck seem slim at best. You don't have to be the pilot, the lawyer, or the doctor just yet. You don't even have to be the student voted most likely to succeed. In fact, I most certainly was not. You've heard some basic facts about me. You know I graduated in 2007 and went on to obtain a university degree, and for reasons that baffle even me, I've decided to go back for a second one. You've heard my end product, but you have not heard my process. You haven't heard that I was suspended from this very school for fighting. You haven't heard that I sat in accounts class and cried, thinking that my chances of passing were as small as Mr. Jones volunteering to sit my CXC exams. You haven't heard that 10 years ago, if asked whether anyone believed that I would be standing in front of you today, not a single hand would have gone up. I know the struggle. I know that there are all sorts of things going on in your lives right now that seem just as or more important than school. I know you feel like the odds are against you, that your path in life is already mapped out, and nothing you can do will change that. You're wrong though, you can. I'm proof of that. Think back to my list of transgressions. Guess what? Today, I help people who have committed violent offenses become law-abiding citizens. I also managed to pass accounts with a one distinction, a fact that still amazes me, but never once made me want to pursue a career in accounting. Last of all, and even more amazing to me, is that I'm standing before you today making this very speech. My years in high school, particularly my early ones, were not my best. I frequently acted out, talked way too much, and thought I was always right. I thought the world was out to get me, and that teachers were paid to make me miserable. There was no big moment that changed this for me. There was no one presentation I heard or exam I failed that changed my mind and attitude and convinced me to turn my life around. It was never a big moment for me, but rather a series of small ones. I want you to think back to what you did this morning between waking up and arriving at school. You probably had a shower, got dressed, ate breakfast, grabbed your bag, hopped on the bus, or in a car. None of those were particularly big moments. You do those most days of the week and probably without even thinking. Yet, but because of these little actions, and maybe with some help from your parents, you made it to school. I found that life in general is like that. For me, the little things have made the difference. I tried a little harder in one class. I kept my unnecessary opinions to myself with great difficulty, I must add. And I decided that the odds of someone else being right were closer to 5% rather than 0. In all honesty though, I opened myself up to the possibility that the world was more than I imagined it could be. That I was just as capable as the top student in my class. You don't have to be the best student. You have to be the student who is willing to try. I'm sure you all have heard of the term selfies. For any clueless parent or teacher, these are very much what they sound like. Essentially, self-portraits often taken by a cell phone. Students, I want you to imagine you're taking a selfie right now. Ready? You're not ready. This imaginary selfie, do you like what you see? Do you like where that person is going? Do you think you could look back on it 10 years from now and be satisfied with their journey since? If not, how do you make those answers yes? That choice is yours. It doesn't have to be some big action. It never was for me. The size of the act does not matter. What does is that it happens. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." Today, I offer you a slightly less daunting challenge. Be the change you want to see in yourself. If you want higher grades, start studying a bit more. If your teachers have pointed out that you're a bit disruptive in class, try harder to hold your tongue. If you want others to see a new you, start building a different routine that makes this possible. Don't ever feel like it's too late, or that where you're coming from determines where you go. It wasn't and didn't for me. It doesn't have to be for you either. Best of luck on your process. I, for one, cannot wait to see your end product. Congratulations to the achievers, and for those who may not be receiving awards today, I expect to see you here next year. Thank you.